Okay, welcome to Snaffle Travel's 7th Zoom series, From the Horse's Mouth. We speak to different equestrian personalities. We're coming a bit earlier today because we're speaking to Lindsay Jardine from Calgary. Hi Lindsay, how are you?
Hello, good morning everybody. It's afternoon here and I just really appreciate you tuning in this early. Or if you're watching this later in the day, that's great. But just thank you so much for the opportunity to talk a little bit about the Calgary Stampede.
Yeah, okay. Now, Lindsay, tell us how long's the Calgary Stampede been going, and just tell us a little bit of a brief history.
Sure. So 2020 was the 108th edition of the Stampede. It was mostly virtual this year due to the pandemic, but it's been going since 1912, and this was the first year ever that we've had unfortunately to cancel the Stampede. Looking forward to being back in 2021 for the 109th edition of the Calgary Stampede. It was started, as I said, in 1912, actually by an American entrepreneur named Guy Wiedeck, and he was traveling with his lovely wife, Florence Ledoux, who was the world champion fancy trick roper. And they were actually American. He was from Rochester, New York, and she was from Minneapolis. They met in Wild West shows, traveling in Wild West shows, and they were coming through Calgary, Alberta in a Wild West show and just fell in love with this area. And it was his dream to have a cowboy celebration, to celebrate the cowboy way of life that he saw slipping away in 1912. And he was the dreamer, but with no money. So he approached 4 wealthy ranchers in the area to get them to put up the money, and it's been going ever since.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no, it's an amazing show. So how many staff and volunteers does it take to arrange the Stampede?
Right. Well, most people know the Stampede is a 10-day event every July. Stampede Park is actually a year-round facility. We are a not-for-profit, but we have a large convention center space that under normal circumstances we would be renting out to conventions and weddings and parties. And so we'll wait for that to recommence, hopefully, later this year. But that is part of our year-round operation. And Stampede Park is right in the center of downtown. So we have normally about 300 full-time employees year-round, and then close to 2,500 volunteers. Wow. Who put on the Stampede, and then numerous part-timers. During the 10-day event, there's also more than 3,000 people that we hire. A lot of people in Calgary, this is for teens and so on, it's their first job ever working at the Stampede. I know it was for me when I was younger, and it's just a great opportunity to get out, get some working experience, and work something that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it is an amazing event. So the Stampede, it's the world's largest outdoor event.
Greatest outdoor show on earth, we like to say.
So what type of events? I know they've got the rodeo and the chuck wagons. Tell us about all the sort of events that are run.
Right, yes. I mean, definitely we have some sort of icon or cornerstone events. And of course, the rodeo has been going since the very first Stampede in 1912. So has the parade that's been going from the very first Stampede, as well as the Elbow River Camp, which back then was called the Indian Village, representing the First Nations of Treaty 7 here in southern Alberta. And those 3 events have been going right from the very beginning. In 1923, they added the chuck wagon racing, and over 50 years ago was added the grandstand show that is a double feature on the same ticket as the chuck wagon races. So every night at 8 o'clock, we would have the chuck wagon races, and then segue right into an almost 90-minute grandstand stage show, finishing with fireworks that you can see all over the city. And we did have the fireworks this year as well on the first and the last day of Stampede. That was a real kind of morale booster, I think, for Calgarians. You could see them from all over the city. And, as I mentioned, the First Nation relationship is very unique. There's nothing else like it in Canada that's been going for 108-year partnership.
Yeah.
The village is run by the teepee owners, the 26 teepee owners that reside in the village for the 10 days along with their families. And of course, agriculture is the backbone of the Stampede, and all the agriculture events that you can come and partake in. They're absolutely free once you're in Stampede Park. And one of my favorite things to do is it's just nonstop activities going on the whole 10 days. We're one of the largest music festivals in Canada. There's all types of music, but of course we love the Canadian country music as well during the 10 days. And that's really a highlight. And fun foods. We like to have fun with food and try deep frying almost everything.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. All sorts of things.
You can have a salad and a smoothie after Stampede's over, but you know, during the 10 days, people like to just sort of, you know, try some fun foods along with the fun activities.
And they also, I saw the Budweiser Clydesdales there as well. And
yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's barrel racing.
Yes. Oh yeah. During the rodeo, we've got 6 different events, and the ladies barrel racing, tied on roping, steer wrestling, and then the rough stock events, which are the saddle bronc, bareback, and then bull riding is kind of considered the crown jewel of rodeo, and that's kind of the last event that you'll see every afternoon at the rodeo. And you know, the best of the best between cowboys and cowgirls and the athletes themselves, which are the horses and the bulls.
So how many people generally attend the Calgary Stampede every year?
Right. I mean, we're generally pretty close to about 1.3 for visitation, 1.3 million visitors over the days. And, you know, we welcome a lot of visitors from Australia and New Zealand. And about 70% of our visitation, or just under 70%, is local in area. And then 30% of the 1.3 million is from, you know, rest of Canada, USA, international. As I say, our number one overseas is the UK, but very closely followed by Australia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And New Zealand.
Yeah, no, I remember I took a group there, I think it was 2017. It was just amazing. So how many days what's a good amount of days? We only spent 2 days there. We found that was enough. What's sort of the average?
And that's exactly right. I mean, it's a 10-day event, but really any 2 days out of the 10 days is going to give you that really great kind of experience. I mean, you don't want to come for too short a time. I mean, some tours only can do the 1 day, and they will do everything in the 1 day, and it can be a pretty long day. But you know, you want to leave feeling like you've really sort of experienced everything to do with the festival. And so 2 days really gives you a nice time to do rodeo 1 day, the evening show the next, and then fill it in with all the other things to see and do on Stampede Park and even around the city of Calgary to add to your festival experience.
And is there any better day to go? Or because we found like we kind of went during the week, it was a bit quieter, whereas weekends are quite busy.
Yeah, that's true, especially with that, you know, local visitation coming more on the weekend. And there's a lot of corporate hosting and hosting of friends and relatives that happen during Stampede, obviously, as well. You know, the first day of Stampede kicks off the big parade on the very first Friday. So if you love a parade, then you want to make sure you're in at least the day before on Thursday night, because the parade starts at 9 a.m. in the morning. To 11. It's a 2-hour-long parade through downtown. It's not on Stampede Park. It's actually downtown. We close off all the streets to cars, and people just line the streets and watch the parade. Over 400,000 people do that, and television nationally across Canada as well. So parade is that day. I mean, if you're a hardcore rodeo fan, the very last day of rodeo is the final. So, I mean, you know, the competitors are sort of competing in Pool A, and then Pool B, the next group of competitors, winners advancing to the finals. on the final Saturday. But really, you know, it's an afternoon of entertainment. You don't even have to know anything about rodeo. We have video screens. We have a couple of rodeo announcers who are giving you all the color and the background and the interviews and the little insider information and telling you what to look for, what the judges are looking for. So they're talking to you the whole time, very energetic. It moves very, very, very fast from one event to the next. It's pretty seamless. It's a well-oiled machine. I mean, our rodeo office has been doing this for a long time and very practiced. And so, you know, it's an afternoon of entertainment, outdoor entertainment.
So with the tickets and that, can you sort of explain about the tickets, how they work? If they're
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, our tickets go on sale every October, and I am anticipating that they will go on sale this October. We are switching right now over to a new ticketing system, but I think the aim is still to get it ready for on sale that first Monday in October. But we always do encourage international travelers to especially use your preferred travel agency, and they'll be using a preferred perhaps tour operator who has packaged up hotel and tickets to make it easy for you, so that, you know, you definitely want to book your hotel space. And if it's important for you to be downtown where Stampede Park is, then you'd want to get, you know, your hotel space booked fairly early. 40% of the hotel inventory in Calgary is in the northeast quadrant of the city, which is where the airport is. YYC is Calgary International Airport. And because, you know, Calgary is a city of just over 1.3 million people, and Stampede's in the middle of the city, no matter where you stay in what quadrant of the city, it's all connected by light rail transit, C-train. So we really encourage you to take that light rail transit. It runs 24 hours during the 10 days of Stampede. It's very easy, it's very clean, it's very safe. And that way you don't have to rent a car for your days at Stampede. Maybe, you know, once you head to Banff, or if you've come from Banff or heading to southern Alberta, or up north to Edmonton or Jasper, that's when you would have your car. RV rental. Or if you're part of a group tour, that's usually part of their itinerary as well.
Yeah, it's quite easy. We stayed downtown and we just jumped on the tram and you know, just got off, and it was very easy. And I think
it's just a couple of stations depending on where you're downtown, and the train within the actual downtown core from one end to the other is free. It's just once it leaves the downtown core, and Stampede Park is just one stop outside the downtown core. But you know, I know a lot of people even have walked, you know, home or to Stampede. I mean, it is walkable, but Stampede Park is large, and you will be doing a lot of walking once you get there. So we always say, you know, maybe best to sort of take transit or to get there, and if you're feeling energetic at the end of the day, you could do that walk home. But again, there's lots of people around. It's very safe.
So my favorite event is the chuck wagon races. Do you have a favorite event?
Oh gosh, I mean, the chuck wagons, I mean, I have a soft spot for them as well. This is my horse Sam over here as a thoroughbred, and he was an off the track thoroughbred. He was never a chuck wagon horse, but we turned him into a show jumper.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I just love the thoroughbreds. I mean, I love horses of all types, and at Stampede you're going to see Draft Horse Town, the big heavies, as you mentioned, the Budweiser hitch is usually there, and we have a whole section that's just the heavy drafts, and then all different breeds come in throughout Stampede. And, you know, aside from the rodeo going on in the grandstand, the agriculture area is one of my very favorites. As I mentioned before, all the activities are free once you come into Stampede Park, you know, even if you just pay admission price for the park itself, which is just $18 for adults and half price for seniors and kids. But the activities are just nonstop all day long. And you know, some are kind of indoors in our state-of-the-art agrium building, and some are outdoors and some are in tents. But I mean, it's just, you can see, you know, team cattle penning and cutting, and Cowboy Up Challenge, which is the horse and rider working together through an obstacle course. I always love that one. I mean,
yeah, that's quite a good one. Yeah, the little bridges, and it's amazing. Like one of the bridges moves. And
these horses are just like, you know, just amazing to me, the trust between horse and rider that you see
Yeah.
in that event particularly. It's just it's pretty wonderful. So anything with animals, I mean, I'm a big marshmallow. I love animals, and so that's always kind of my favorite part. The Elbow River Camp with with the 26 teepees is so unique, and that relationship is just something that's just so incredible. And I've been fortunate to bring the First Nation princess a couple of times down to Australia when I for Calgary, and so it's always been, you know, so amazing to see a country through somebody else's eyes who is seeing it for the first time, and you know, they've always absolutely just loved coming to Australia, and that for that opportunity, and you know, and in turn I've learned so much about their culture, and you know, it's different all across Canada as it is in Australia, right? The Aboriginal culture is different in each region, and you know, so the Treaty 7 partnership and learning about the Blackfoot, and it's pretty special. It's a pretty special thing to partake in when you come to the Stampede.
Yeah, no, I remember going across to the teepee village, and yeah, and it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think it might have moved the location since you were here, Tanya. It moved across the river to the Elbow River Park, NMAX Park, and was renamed Elbow River Park. So that happened, I think, in the last 3 years. So
might have, yeah, no, it was across the river. I had to go across.
Yeah, it was another part across the river, but it's moved to a space that's 3 times as large as the previous area. So
the main, in the evening they have the show, the main event. Tell us about the nightly show, because it was quite spectacular. Like,
yes, the grandstand show, and I think as I mentioned, it's a double bill with the same on the same ticket as the chuck wagon event. So you watch the chuck wagon races and then sit in your same seat to watch the grandstand show that comes on, and it's seamless between the chuck wagon races and the grandstand show. It's just a very seamless transition. And the grandstand show is different every year, has a different theme, a different sort of name that they embrace. Next year, Paul Brandt, who's a local boy, Canadian country music artist, very well known here in Canada and the US, will be headlining the grandstand show. That is something we've already announced, Paul Brandt. And he has a fantastic song called well, I shouldn't give it away. I gotta save some things for later. But you know, the grandstand show is featuring the Performing Arts School, the young Canadians, and young kids age 6 up to 18, and music, singing, dance, performance, all choreographed to fireworks. It's quite a spectacular show.
Yeah.
And you know, I know a lot of people say like the fireworks part of it just alone is way more than they expected and anticipated, and it's always got a very Canadiana and Alberta feel to it, so it always feels very kind of patriotic.
So when people go to the Stampede, obviously not everyone wears your cowboy hat, but if anyone wants to buy a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, is there anywhere in Calgary that you recommend?
Absolutely. And the white hat is our symbol of Western hospitality. And really that's all you need to do is put on a cowboy hat to fit right into the Calgary Stampede spirit that takes over the whole city. And Alberta Boot is a great boot maker here in Calgary, and Alberta Boot made the boots for William and Kate when they came right after. And they also custom make all of the RCMP Mountie boots for them. Every Mountie has a custom surge, their Mountie uniform, and their boots are all made to measure. So they not just cowboy boots, but they're the Mountie boots as well. But they have a great variety, and they can do custom made. And then Smith Belt Hats has been here for over 100 years, and they're very close to Stampede Park. And they They do make cowboy hats. Again, they can do all sorts of custom orders, and they have a great showroom over there. And of course, Lamley's, which is our Western apparel company here that has stores throughout Alberta, right on Stampede Park. And Lamley's has everything that you need to outfit yourself for Stampede: the jeans, the boots, the hats, the belt buckles, the accessories.
That's where I got this one.
Is that where you got that? Yeah, that's where I got this hat as well. And you know, Lamley's is just a great partner, and you know, and they even sell tack. I get my tack for my horse out there as well.
And obviously with the COVID this year, it stopped the Stampede. How's that sort of affected yourself? Like, you're working from home?
Yeah, working from home. Yeah, this is my office. And as I was mentioning to you, I have 3 cats, and I have one cat that just hates it when I sit here at the computer, and I've kind of plied him with some food somewhere else. So hopefully he's going to be happy while I do this. But so it's been a little bit of a transition for my animals as well. I think on the most part, they're happy to have me home, but everybody is, or most people, I would say, are still working from home. There's just a few like IT and some accounting and that are there. But and then just recently they announced that the Calgary courts are moving to a couple of our buildings because they need the social distancing space for jury trials, and so they're going to use a few of our buildings for the courthouse for a little while. So so that's good that you know, it'll still be used. But you know, we are planning for 2021, and as I say, we're already, you know, vision planning for what that's going to look like, and very, very hopeful that
yeah, let's hope things start improving. There's a vaccine.
They'll make great strides. Yes,
yeah.
and rapid testing could be a game changer. And I mean, we just really hope you know, some things change. Yeah, and everything. It will. Yeah. Oh, like it. Yeah. We will get through this.
And is there any new events scheduled for 2021? Anything different?
I mean, I just mentioned, you know, we've already named the headline of the grandstand show, but we haven't, you know, usually our programming gets kind of booked later in the year, sort of closer to Christmas. We would announce like a first, you know, music headliner that would be a concert in the Saddle Dome event. And then the programming really starts to get solidified up January, February, March. So that's sort of still to come, but I imagine maybe a lot of what was in the works for this year might also just sort of be segueing into next year. But you know, it's a little bit later next year. Next year, the Stampede starts July 9th and it goes to the 18th. So just a little bit later into July.
So I'll just have a quick look, just see if there's any comments. Probably just a bit early. Everyone's probably just waking up here. But sometimes we get the odd question. Let's have a little look.
Coming down to Australia. I was there just in February. I was in Australia and New Zealand just the end of February, beginning of March. So I was in Melbourne doing some sales calls, and I did a travel media show in Sydney just before that, and then also in Brisbane, and then finished off in New Zealand. And you know, I love Australia. I love New Zealand. It's a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, no, and you probably won't be able to come back for a couple of years now. So
yeah, I think that last trip maybe will have to tide me over for a little while. But I mean, it's great we can still stay connected, right? And
yeah, no, Zoom's been amazing. Yes, but yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay. We've really enjoyed listening to you. I really appreciate you giving up your time.
Absolutely.
So we'll be going monthly from next month, and I'll be speaking to Helen Christie, an eventing official, who's a chief eventing steward for the Tokyo Olympics. and it won't be till Thursday, the 16th of September. So I'll see you all then. And